Hey guys, welcome back to Talk Story with me, Gaven Sugai. I'm here with a good friend of mine, a DJ Zack Morse. He's also
Hey.
a health. He also owns Healthness Hawaii. I think I got that right? You're a fitness
Oh, yes,
trainer,
that is correct. Yes.
Healthness
Yeah.
Hawaii,
Yeah.
and the host and owner of Sleep Times Over, Mr. Aaron
Yeah.
Sakai. Welcome to
Thank
the
you for
show.
having me, sir. I haven't heard the first time hearing the owner of Sleep Times Over. That's interesting. Hearing that for the first time. So thank you for that. I don't really know what I consider myself anymore. So it's good to have a title of owner, I guess.
Well,
And
you have an interesting history with Sleep Times Over because you started off with there was two of you at some point.
there
If you
was
want to
two of
talk
me.
about
Yes,
that.
this was not my total idea, but was the show origin was my friend Gaven, who has a brand called Light Sleepers. So he used to have a
Hmm.
store on McCully, the Light Sleepers store, which was like a hip hop clothing streetwear store. And he did college radio as well back in the day, and that's how we met, was in through college at UH. And he just out of the blue just said he wanted to do a podcast. He's like, do you want to do a podcast? And I was like, I was in the store and he just said it to me and he was like, you want to do a podcast or what? I'm like, okay. And then that was it. And it was okay. And it was like, guess what we're gonna talk about? Oh, we're talking about like sports, hip hop. Like, okay. And I always wanted to do it myself. This was back in 2016. So I always wanted to do something along the lines of that from back as a kid, just wanting to do a talk show thing. But it just never got that push, right? So as soon as he asked me, I was like, I said it nonchalantly, but then I was like, inside it as it sunk in, like, oh, okay, it's gonna be fun. We can just do this. And that's how it became a thing. And literally the night before we started to do the first recording, I asked him, so what are we calling this thing? And then he said, Sleep Time's Over. I'm like, okay, because it's like an offshoot of your brand. I get it. So that was it. And then we went into it with zero expectation. We were just like, let's just record us talking story, because that's what we used to do when we were DJing. We'd be at the back of the DJ booth and we'd be just saying the banter. And that was it. It was basically the same banter we would talk behind the DJ booth. We would just now be recorded. And he felt that he had the best chemistry with me. So I was honored to join him. And off we went. June of 2016 was the beginning of that. We did that every week, every Wednesday morning. We recorded in his store. And off it went. And 2020, 5 years later, pretty much. So yeah, that's pretty much how it began.
Where was the transition?
Oh yeah, so through the years, as it went through talking about sports and talking about hip hop, it basically became that, along with just our day-to-day life. And we always recap what we did during the past week. And he was a family guy. He had 2 kids, wife and kids, married. And then here I was, I didn't have kids, and I would go out. So we would recap our stories, and it would be 2 dramatically different stories. So I think that was a good thing, to be a yin and yang. And so it ended up becoming, let's talk about Hawaii stuff. So we ended up talking about just local people and things we see around the town. And then it just became a lot of ranting about Hawaii and talking about this in Hawaii and all the stuff, the funny stuff we see. So then that was an added dimension to it. And then from there, I knew a lot of people in the bar industry, restaurant industry. So I just told them, let's start bringing different people on, rather than the people that would stereotypically think that would be on this show. Instead of like a rapper, let's bring on a bartender, let's bring on a restaurant owner, let's bring on a small business owner. And let's expand the audience here. For people that don't know who you are, we'll bring on somebody who's the head of Mojo Barbershop. They're not going to know who Light Sleepers is, and vice versa, maybe. And then we expand the audience. And then that's how it became a thing. Let's do a show live at Square Barrels, because nobody maybe that follows you, Gaven, is going to even know what the hell Square Barrels is, and vice versa. So then let's do that and do a show live inside of a restaurant. And so I just kept throwing ideas at him to be like, let's think outside the box here and try and not be what people think. So that's how that evolved. Created a dinner, a 4-course dinner at Square Barrels, where we did the show live in front of people eating. I mean, that's like only Aaron Price does that. So I was like, okay, let's do that.
And now Aaron Sakai.
It'll be a goof, right? It'll just be this goofy thing, and then we'll name the courses like stuff that we've said on the show. Like we'll call like one of the courses was the Haole course, the Kailua course. We'll call one of the courses like the Chinese Beverly Hills, which is, you know, and it'll be like a takeoff Chinese food. It'll be, so we just make fun of all, you know, everything like Hawaii people we do. And so it evolved all the way to the transition. The transition was 2018, where basically Kevin just said like he can't do the show anymore because he's just got to really focus on keeping the store open. And that hit me pretty hard because like we were trying to, you know, I'm trying to build this show with him, and for the fact that he's got to really, you know, take care of, make sure his store is still open. So that hit me hard. I was basically just like sad that he couldn't do it, and just like what are we gonna do, you know? Because so that was in June of 2018 that happened. So then I just kept trying to just think by myself, just what am I gonna do? And that was where it led to, maybe I should do the show with a woman and do a he said, she said thing. And I'll say something stupid, and then the female can just correct me or call me out and be like a Regis and Kelly thing. So I thought of that idea, and that was the first, I guess, reincarnation of the show. That was in October. Because he left the show in October. Pretty much at the 100th episode, he left. And that was basically it. It was just, he still comes on the show periodically, but that was, the initial transition was just a lot of unknown, because I just didn't know. I wasn't confident in myself to be talking by myself as a thing. So I was like, I need the back and forth conversational banter to continue it on. So that was the first transition, I guess.
And that's incredible, because back in October of 2018 is when I started my podcast as well. So you did
that's right.
You did a relaunch, and then earlier October was when I started mine, after a huge transition as well. So in my whole life. So that's crazy.
Go figure.
So. And you've been doing some really expansive ideas, very, very untraditional. You know, you do a live show. I don't think I've ever seen anybody, any podcast that's done a live show, it's very hard. I don't know if people know how difficult it is to find a spot.
Yes. Right.
You start off at 8:30, exactly 8:30, and you try to end, or you do your best. You do very well, but you try to end before 10 o'clock, which is I applaud you for that. That's amazing. I don't know if people know how hard that is.
It gives me lots of anxiety and stress. Yeah. I put my foot in my mouth all the time, and I shoot myself in the mouth all the time with all these ideas. It just kind of went from one thing to the next. It was just a strange thing, because obviously, if I was going to continue the show, where am I going to do it at? I did it at his store, so I need to find some place to do the show at, and I like the video aspect of it. So we used to film in his store. So then I thought, okay, well, I'll have it at my house. But then if I have it at my house and then we have a guest come on the show, it's just going to be weird to have this guest come over to my house, this stranger, and the guest is going to be weirded out. And then it's just a weird situation. So I was like, I can't do it in the house. This just doesn't. Although strangely, here's my house. But
the anime
go figure, right?
The anime background.
This is it, everyone. No one's paying attention to what I'm saying. Look at this. Just look at this, everyone. Just stare at this.
They see Naruto all the way in the back there. They see him.
Exactly. You see? It's over there.
Right there.
Kikaida's over there.
Yeah, he's over there.
Over there. And then you got Frank DeLima down here. And
Frank DeLima. Just the best Kikaida.
God. Don't give Frank ideas. I guess that's really what it came down to. Like, where can I have this thing, this show? And then the idea of my friend works at bar manager at the Hi Brau Room, and I know of that place not being open every day, so I just went to ask him, is it okay if we could just go in there and just record it and just use the background that was the Hi Brau Room? And they weren't open on Tuesdays, so he was fine with it. They were all cool with it, and off we went into the Hi Brau Room, and that was the Halloween show. That was the first episode done in Hi Brau Room. It was very odd because here we are in this big space, and then the lighting was weird, and it was really dark, and then here we have, Lopaka Kapanui walking in, this black suit, and he's probably like, who are these weirdos? Who am I talking to? What the hell is this? And then he's in there, and then it's just this dark thing, which I guess it matched because it was the Halloween show, so it's real dark, and he's telling his ghost stories. Yeah. But that was it, and that's how it kind of became a thing. And then after that, I basically told my friend, who is the Lord Flores, he's the announcer to the show. He does the intros to every show. I asked him, since you're open for this, is it possible to open it up to the public so you can make some money, and then people can buy drinks and people can eat, and then can kind of justify us being here, because you're turning on electricity and stuff and AC, that's costing you money. So why is that possible? So he said, yeah, let's just do it. So then I further promoted it as, okay, well, public's welcome. Anybody can come up and watch and hang out and just hang out. So that's how it became the audience situation. And plus I noticed that when we did the live events with the dinners, the live audience interaction with us talking was really fun. So I was like, okay, I think we're onto something. So that's how it became a thing. And I figured, okay, well, it worked before with those events. Let's just try it. And that's how we started getting people to come in there. And people just started hanging out and just start, hanging out and staring at me. Which I always find just bizarre. I always, still to this day, I mean, I haven't done one of those shows since March, but I still to this day, whenever I start one, I come out and I'm just sitting there, I'm just like, you guys really just staring at me right now. I just really want to hear me talk. I mean, whatever. All right. But it's just such a trip.
They're looking at the background too. That's what they're looking at.
I hope so, right? They're looking at the fireplace, So that's how it became a thing. And then one thing led to another. Then it led to getting lighting because it's so dark in there. So then I got to get the lighting. And then it just led into like, how are we going to just set what's the formula of the show? Got to get guests. So got to get the guests to come on the show, and then I can just banter with them. And interaction with the co-host, which eventually became, Sky, which eventually led to, I should have a musical component to this. I should have like a talk show has a music person. Let's have a music person. Let's have a DJ on the show. It only makes sense. So we got Freeze. Then let's have a social media guy who can be the one that can keep track of and do all these IG lives and all this stuff, because I can't do any of that. I'm on the air, so I can't do any of that live. So you can document what goes on at the live show. And then and then Ben does the announcement. And it just all led to this, and it led to the intro video, and shows me running around the town, and I come up the stairs and open the door. That's why I come out of the door. He intros me in, and it's a talk show, and it is a show, and that's really what it is for first and foremost, and that's what it became. And it's fun and tiring at the same time. And but I enjoy it. I can't wait to do it again. And I just love talking in front of a lot of people. I know a lot of people don't. I get it. And a lot of the guests, I notice it's tough. And a lot of the guest interviews weren't the greatest at times because they're nervous, or they're just shy, or there's all these people staring at you. I get it. So there's that. But yeah.
Which episode would you say is your favorite? Your favorite one to do?
Wow. I guess the Valentine's shows are always a hoot. because it's basically
Yeah,
about
those ones are.
because it's not really talking about love. It's just talking about how love sucks and how it's all a crock and the Valentine's Day is a crock
Mm.
and it's all and I make it to be it's all female guests. So it's basically all the women that show up on the show that are going to be guests are just going to talk about how Tinder is stupid and how they're getting all these pics from guys in their DMs and it's just stupid and dating and
Mm-hmm.
all of that. So it's just I always like talking about relationships too because it's such a complex mess. So that's always fun conversation. Certain guests too can be great. There's one that I didn't expect to be great because I never met him, but was really good fun. Was Wayne Coito. He does he's an actor. He does Hawaii sports fans, huge football diehard, and he does TV. So he's media trained. So he's good in front of the camera. So it was perfectly fine with him because he's got camera experience. So it's always the guys with the camera experience are the most fun. I mean, that's clearly the thing because the camera adds the element. And people talking public speaking is another thing, but to be camera okay is a big factor. So there's that. Well, and even like the showmanship is there, right?
Yeah.
And just to play with and ham it up and just not afraid to make fun of yourself and so there's that. I mean, even like some of the performances are. We have live performances as well. I don't know if I mentioned that, but I figure if we're gonna have these rappers on, why am I gonna have them just sit down and just talk? I mean, do what you do.
It's amazing, which is amazing that you have live performances.
So I was just like, you know what? I mean, that's what you do. We got mics. I mean, I got a camera. How much more do we need here? I mean, you're going to be playing off a track that's going to be off an MP3 format anyway. We can just throw that in there and then off you go. So that's what led to that. Because I noticed that with all of these hip hop related talk shows, and there's a lot of them in Hawaii that like to feature these local artists, and it's great to see that.
Totally agree.
But a lot of them they don't show their element, show their strength, which is their music. And I've come to find that these musicians are, they're eccentric people and they are talented in one aspect, but they may not articulate the best in an interview situation. So put them in their most comfortable spot and just, you know what? I'll talk story with you and we'll stand up. And usually the format is I'll stand up with them. We'll talk story a little bit, what they're doing, what's coming up with them, what they're into, anything like that. And then to kind of make them less jittery and then, all right, off you go. And then it's like any type of talk show. And so that's how that came into be to have the performances. Just put them in an element so that they can shine the best. And especially for the ones that can't really conversate the best or too shy to even to talk, but then they're confident enough to rap. It's an interesting dynamic that I see. My battery, but it's interesting dynamic. Yeah, that was my battery. Sorry.
5% again.
we're at 20. We're 20. We're hanging in there. We're hanging in there. We're gonna be all right.
That's good.
So yeah, I mean, so yeah, it's just always been just thinking of ideas that one, has it been done yet? Two, is anybody in Hawaii doing it? Just kind of just thinking down the line of like what would work, what would be different, and just entertaining. That's basically it. I just like entertaining people, and that's really what it is. Just make an entertainment show. So yeah.
And they're cool ideas. I mean, like
thank you.
What you were saying, they're out of the box. They're relevant with the times. I mean, especially with a live show, it's very, very centered on this is the video side of it. You see a live performance. You see people going crazy. You see you see certain things where we'll talk about the Teletron or what did you call it? Not the Teletron, but we'll talk about that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
I shot myself in the mouth doing. Yeah.
Shout out to the
Yeah.
royalty babes. But well, but you do a lot of out of the box ideas, which I really respect because like for my podcast, I try to do stuff too where I'm always outside. I like to be mobile, and
Yeah.
I always push people like you can do a mobile podcast. I have minimal stuff where I could just
Of course.
throw things in my pocket and then just walk with it and then just film
Yeah.
somebody right there.
Yeah.
Kind of like a field reporter, but
Yeah.
then for your show, it's like a Jimmy Fallon, but you're the Jimmy Fallon, and
Right.
you have
Right.
bits which are pretty cool. So I really respect that aspect of it, and
Yeah. Thank you.
uh,
No, thank you very much. I mean, it's just, I always wonder to myself, like I still, sometimes like just stop what I'm doing and be just like, why am I doing this? Like, or what am I doing this for? Or like, does anybody even really give a damn? Or should I not care if anybody gives a damn? Or all kinds of thoughts just go in my head because it's basically just me here. I thank, I'm very grateful to have people help me. But at the end of the day, I always wonder. I just sit to myself and I just shut up and I just be quiet and I just think of, what do people think?
mm-hmm.
Do they dig it? Do they not like me? I mean, I don't, because I'm driving this thing. So if they don't like the driver, I think we're setting up for a crash.
Oh well.
So, right? So all kinds of stuff can go into people, go into my mind, go into people's mind. But yeah, it's just always trying to fulfill something that I've been wanting to do as a kid, really. And it's a format that I don't know if it works, if it doesn't work. If people dig it, okay. But yeah, the talk show format, I just think it's never been really done truly in Hawaii. Never really given a good shot in Hawaii. And it was never really done well in Hawaii. I mean, I know you and I both know we've talked about this before that there was an attempt at a talk show before on TV, and it just didn't work. And I just hope that this could be something that could be pushed further. I think we got something a quality where we focus on Hawaii in a environment that doesn't look like Hawaii with Hi Brau looking the way it looks.
Yep.
And then hosted by a guy like me, which people to this day don't even think that I'm from here. So and I get it, and plus the way that I talk, people just think that I'm not from here because I just don't talk pidgin when I can, but I'm just gonna talk like this to you because this is just how I talk to everybody. And so because of that, and then that's why I make it as diverse as possible, because here it is. Here's this Holly Japanese guy talking to somebody from Waianae, or talking to some Hawaiian guy, or talking to some African American guy, or talking to some Asian guy. So we just have the diversity, because I really want to push that local stuff, local business, local people, local music and whatnot, but just diverse. I don't want it to be like Hot Hawaiian Nights, where it's gonna be okay. Here's Hot Hawaiian Nights. Okay, here comes all the Hawaiians now, and then here comes all the Mokes. I don't want it to be like, here comes the Japanese show. I don't want it to be here comes the Filipino show. And that's what these local shows do. They don't promote it like that, but that's what you see when you turn it on. You don't see much diversity. And it's a strange situation. I mean, I don't want to call them out directly, but I think you're going to know what shows I'm talking about when you look at KHON, all of them, Hawaiian News, all of them. It's just strange. And I want to change that. I want to try. And because we're all in this together, and we all make fun of each other because we all like each other, and that's how we do it. We're not teasing, but this is it. People make fun of me all the time. And that's how it is. It's just because that's Hawaii culture. And we embrace all of us. It's all in good fun. It's never anything than that. And let's all come together, I don't care what you look like. I don't care who you are. I'll talk to you. And I want to get to know you. And that should be the thought for just people in general, in just relationships. Screw what I do as a show. Just do that in your day to day. It doesn't matter. and so that's the thing too. And then it just kind of leads into all the stuff that's happened in 2020 as well. So, so with that, it kind of hit a chord with me, and it's been taken to the next level. So the diversity topic, I guess.
That's a whole other discussion in itself too.
Exactly. So yeah. Sorry for the long-winded answer. Yeah.
No, that was great. Thank you for that response. Let's talk about the telethon or the Teletron, whatever you want to call it.
I don't know what to call
Voltron.
Yeah, we'll just call it the Japanese toy. Yeah.
Yeah, tell us how that came out to be, and your response to that. Like what people thought of it.
So, okay, from the get-go, I was just sitting at home, and I noticed I was doing the live shows from home already, and I was doing these stay-at-home shows, and I was having all these various people, and it was after the one I did with Ashley Nagaoka. I was gonna be like, I'm just gonna take a break and then just regroup here from all these shows and just see what could be the next thing.
We talked about this too. I remember.
Yeah, and so after Nagaoka, the live show with her, I was just like, I haven't had a lot of the rappers on, so I wanna. And then once again, I'm just thinking, I just want to mind screw people. And after having Ashley Nagaoka, you're not gonna see the next guest being like some rapper, some Hawaii rapper. Because I just like this. I just like to screw with people and be like, you're just not gonna know what's coming next. So I was thinking, oh, maybe I should do a thing with the rappers where a different one joins me every 20 or 30 minutes, and then at the end of their go out, they rap, and then that's the signal to bring the next guy in, and I just do this kind of this rapper collage show, and feature them all, and put them all on there. And that was the origin of the telethon. And after I saw that was after that night with Nagaoka, I thought of that idea, and then I saw on the IG Live there's the fundraiser button that they added to the IG Live, where you can just add a fundraiser to it. I was like, so I'm looking at it, so you can just donate while you're watching this IG Live. Okay, interesting. So then I thought of, okay, well, no one's done anything where there's a marathon of an IG Live. So why don't we do a telethon? Let's raise some money here. And that was the origin, was just to have the different rappers on, fundraiser. Then it turned into, how long could I talk for? So I'm like, shit. How many people, how could I do this? So maybe if I have maybe every 15 minutes, someone joins me. Maybe I'll go 3 hours, 4 people an hour. And that was the birth of the telethon. And then I was thinking, okay, we could call it a telethon, but I don't think people know what a telethon is, because that's old. Nobody knows who Jerry Lewis is. So I'm like, okay, what can we call it? So then I messaged all the rappers in a group chat. So I thought, okay, think of a name for this thing. What are we going to call this thing? It's a fundraiser. It's a telethon. I'm tired. I don't have time. Go think of a name for me. Get back to me. And then first thing came up, why don't you call it Teletron? And I'm like, like Voltron, everything coming together. I'm like, and I thought, that might be something. That might be something. And then for the lack of just being tired, I'm like, that's it. Nothing else further. Let's go with it. Let's roll it. So Teletron was born. And then I just ended up getting people that I've had on the show before, getting people that I knew could talk and could go in and out quick with stories. That's how I decided who to put on there. There was a lot of people that I wanted that I couldn't just, because if not, I'd be on there for 8 hours, and I just don't want to be on Instagram live for 8 hours. You would see me, suicide would come, and you would see that live. So you would just see things bleed just out of nowhere. Why am I bleeding? I don't know.
Your ears bleeding.
Here we are, hour 6, and you see blood coming out of my eye.
Tears.
So I figured, okay, tears of blood. And so I figured, okay, 3 hours. We go 3 hours, four guests an hour. Okay, we got 12 people. All right. Then it ballooned to 4 hours. And then I just was try to pick and choose. Okay, who can I have that's going to be able to talk quick, get in, get out, and it just kind of position people the way that I positioned everybody in a strategic place as well for the lineup. And off we went, and every hour was a different charity. And Susan G. Komen was the first charity for the first hour. American Red Cross was the second hour. The Hawaii Nature Center was the third. Popolo Project was the fourth. And this was in the beginning of the IG fundraiser situation. So there wasn't many Hawaii charities to donate to. So I'm assuming it's changed now, but that's kind of, I didn't really have a lot to choose from. So, so I just figured just choose like the ones that try to be local, stay relevant to what's going on at the times, and just something, you know. So that was, off it went. That was on May 21st.
What was your favorite segment for the? It was.
Oh well.
Was it 6 hours total? Actually, I would say maybe 5 actually, because I was at the last hour. I remember.
Yeah, you were there. Yeah, you were there. It started at 7 p.m. I didn't finish till midnight.
Right.
So I made sure that, you know, I made sure I paced this out, because it went by fast with the guests, but I made sure I paced this out, and just, you know, I didn't really start to feel it until like 11 o'clock. 11:30, I was really like, I need to shut up. So there was that. But it went well. It went well for the pacing of it. It was long, but it was good that a new person joined me, kept things fresh. I would do it again. I would definitely do it again. It was fun. It was a fun endeavor. I didn't see no one's ever done it, and it's a good way just to raise money in an easy way, where it's just all on there. I don't have to have telephone operators or anything like that. The only thing I would wish would be, it would be in person, and everybody would be in person. That would, I think, would have been more fun. Hopefully in the future that could be a thing. But well, favorite segment. I mean, obviously, you know, it's the Royalty Babes, Gavin. Quite frankly, I don't want to say train wreck. No, did I say that?
No.
But no, I didn't say train wreck, did I? It was a thing.
The shipwreck.
Yeah, something sank. It is what it is. They did a Hot Wings challenge, but you know what? Shout out to them, because they messaged me saying that they wanted to help out, which I didn't see coming at all, because I never really talked to them. So I only knew of them. So for them to want to do this thing and help out, and yeah, it was great to see that kind of that outpouring. So they even were giving out gift cards. They were offering for people. Just, you never know. You just never know who steps up to help anyone, really. So as crazy as that 15 minutes was, it was still I appreciate them very much, and I thank them very much for being a part of it.
That was a crazy 15 minutes.
It was a crazy 15 minutes, as expected, you know. And, you know, it's girls, you know, eating hot wings and drinking. Automatic ratings, you know, not as good as this, but it's, you know, it's something.
Maybe we can do the next one with the dark crowd in the daytime.
Just have the girls sitting up right there, just hanging out, clouds right there, eating. Who falls first? No, that's horrible. That's horrible. Jeez. But yeah.
We got to put extra barriers if that's
grateful.
If that's the case.
Yeah. Reinforce the metal. But so yeah, it was something. I was totally drained after that night, and but I'll do it again. It was a fun thing. Hopefully, got their minds off of the whole situation that's going on currently. So that's just being a diversion. That's what all this is a diversion. Just to get people, you know, to get away from move away from their stress for a little bit of a time, for a small amount of time. Yeah.
And to even talk about another thing that you've done besides the Teletron, you actually did I thought a pretty cool, like DJ group bracket for the greatest group.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
we could yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about
Once again,
what did you think about the
yeah.
bracket?
So, okay, this was another thing. I shoot myself a lot, Gavin. I just think of these ideas to be like, what could be like something that we can all do as a diversion because we're all at home and we got nothing to do. So why don't we do this whole thing where everybody votes on a poll? It was 64 hip hop groups to decide the greatest hip hop group of all time. So rather than the NCAA tournament, we'll have the greatest hip hop group tournament. So 64 groups, brackets. Guys love brackets. So we make the brackets, make all the different regions, and did a selection show where I announced them all. And of course, no one agrees because everybody's going to have their own opinion. So no one's going to be in 100% agreement of how come he's in there, how come he's not in there, how come my group's not in there. Shut up. So it was all of that. So it got a lot of attention, which was good. It got a lot of people voted. It was a daily thing where every day was different brackets. Everybody, who are you going to vote for? So IG story poll, which group is better than the way, and then the other, and then you advance on. And it kept going for about a good 2 weeks, and it was great participation, and just great that everybody participated, and they hopefully everyone enjoyed it, and it was another diversion. It was all to just be a diversion from what is going on outside our door. And it was tiring to keep up with. Everybody messaging me. The greatest thing too is, how do I vote? Do I email you? Do I just tell you? No, you go on IG story. It says vote for the thing. So what I see it. What do I do? No, you put your finger and you touch the screen.
You touch who you want to win.
You touch. So I'm like, God. So you learn a lot about people when you have these things. So it was like the first week, the first couple of days, it was just awful. People just like don't know how to vote, don't know what IG story is. There people calling me up, and they're not even texting me. They're calling me saying, I vote for this one. Can you write that down? No, I'm not writing it down. This is not how you vote. Go on your phone and you touch the picture. So I'm like, once again, yeah, and I shoot myself. So there's that, and it turned out to be a fun thing. Everybody enjoyed it, and yeah. Would I do another one? I would. I would not be opposed to it, but not right now.
It would be a different bracket if anything. The best one-hit wonders.
Yes. That is an idea. Yes, that was something I was thinking of doing. So that'll be the next one. So something fun. And so I think of these ideas. I thank you for thinking that they're good.
Great ideas.
But they're tiring as hell. And, it takes a different mind, I think, to kind of survive. I think these ideas. So there was that. So thank you. Yeah.
Who did you think was going to win the whole thing from the beginning?
Originally, I thought it was going to be Wu-Tang because everybody just knows that name, and because of the people who follow the show, I guess it's a diverse crowd where it's not going to be just the hip hoppers. You're going to have people from various industries or whatnot. That I think name recognition was going to be a thing that was going to be overlooked by a lot of people. Like you can look at critically acclaimed, and you can look at just the name you recognize. And a lot of the people that they just recognize the name got the vote. Two Live Crew, for example, like got all the way to almost the third round because name recognition. People just heard of Two Live Crew, so they're just going to pick Two Live Crew, not really knowing the history or the catalog that they have. So I saw a lot of that. So I thought because of that, it would be Wu-Tang. Tribe Called Quest won, where it was a tie. In a rather dramatic fashion, of all things, it ended in a tie. So then I'm like, oh shit, get 2 guns now. So like I gotta come out with and I gotta make a tiebreaker show. So like a Friday at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, I had to go set up my camera, set up my computer. I'm like, all right, here we are. It's a tiebreaker. So then I just had to be like, okay, guys, just like pick a number. I'm writing the number down. Whoever gets that number, okay, you vote for who you want to win, Tribe Called Quest or Wu-Tang. And it all came down to one woman. And I know her, and I actually went to high school with her, but I'm not going to call it up. But I mean, she's a music she's a hip hop person, but to put the weight of the hip hop world on her shoulders is a little bit much. But she voted, and we put a gun to her head. Hurry up, vote, hurry up, and she did. And Tribe Called Quest won. So it was decided by her. Whoever showed up for that IG live, they got a chance to have a shot to vote. She got the number correct when I guessed. She voted. Tribe Called Quest won. So that was it.
And I think I was okay with her choice because so one of my favorite rappers has always been Ghostface Killah, because I remember listening to Supreme Clientele. That was one of the first albums I've ever listened to, and I thought, oh, this is amazing. But the assessment of it is I liked Ghostface Killah, but then Wu-Tang as the whole clan, I was thinking, man, I don't like some of their albums. You know what I mean?
No.
Just the group album. So I was okay with A Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah. That's a great point, because Wu-Tang really as a collective did not put out great albums.
Right.
You could maybe look at their debut and their sophomore album. And then after that, good luck. So yeah, that's a big factor. And people don't realize that. People just know the name Wu-Tang and they think everything they make is great. But you're thinking of all these individual guys. It's not the group. So yeah, there was that. I also kind of indirectly thought Outkast was going to win because of name recognition.
I thought the same thing. Yep.
Because people just know it. People just know they're very mainstream. They're the most mainstream out of the Tribe Called Quest, Wu-Tang, and Outkast, I would think. So, but in a shocker, kind of, I think it was Tribe Called Quest that took them out, which, of course, there's no argument there. But yeah, so if there was another group, it'd be Outkast.
Yeah, I initially thought from the beginning, I thought Outkast was going to win the whole thing, or even just get to the finals. So when they got kicked off, I was like, wow, this is interesting because then I guess some people know some of their stuff. Some people know some other stuff that I don't know, which is great. I'm glad about that. And
and everybody loves Outkast.
Yeah, so, everybody loves Outkast. Yeah. I was surprised to see 3 6 Mafia in there because I was like 3 6 Mafia. I was like, oh yeah, I never heard of those guys in a long time. So
and then people don't realize that they won a Grammy.
Right.
So they eclipsed anybody in that 64 team bracket. They won a Grammy.
They won a Grammy.
So that's the ultimate like wow, WTF, right? So yeah, I mean a lot of people. There's a lot of groups, and there's 64, and we can't have everybody in there. So the decision of that was my co-host Sky was the one who created that thing because he's the hip hop nerd. So I had him come up with the 64 teams and wait for my approval. I was like, yeah, let's go, let's do it, and that was it. So
that was great. So I kind of want to transition to a more serious question. This is more expansive about like hip hop industry or even the entertainment industry here in Hawaii. Because one thing I've noticed a lot is a lot of underground rappers, a lot of underground entertainers, or you see a lot of social media influencers, comedians like Passion, who are trying to kind of go mainstream. They're trying to break through and convey to an audience outside of Hawaii. Why hasn't that been translated right now? Why do you think so?
Several things on that one. I guess if we break down like the top 2 entertainment genres, we look at music, we look at comedy. For a local, let's go local artist. if not even go hip hop, but let's just go local music in general, which they have the best shot of getting out of here, right? Hawaii is an island music culture. It always will be. It will never change. It's really like how do you transition to the West Coast, and then from the West Coast, how do you go? What's the next step from there, or do you go international? It comes down to the person's drive, first of all, and how much they want to push themselves out there, and how much are they doing networking. And I go back to when you asked me about the what segments were good about the show, and I told you about the live performances, and these hip hop artists would come on, and they don't have, I guess, the people skills needed to put yourself out there further. When you're an entertainer, you gotta play the game. You got to mingle. You got to network, not just with the people in your sector. You need to mingle with the other people around the town so people know you, because they do not. And you get your name out there, and to keep pushing your name out there. Like these hip hop guys, they have these shows, and it's all their friends. And I always ask them, like, what's the real hip hop audience in Hawaii? You know, so that's why I book these shows where I'm going to have a Ashley Nagaoka on, and then we'll have a Astro Guillotine on. Where we have we'll just mix up the worlds. So then that'll be the opportunity for that rapper to open up to meeting these people that they will have never have met before if it wasn't for this interaction in the show and getting your name out there and being that people person. It's about really being an extrovert. If you're going to build yourself up, you're going to need that. Because if it's only you as a business, that's all you got. You don't have no team. So you got to push yourself out there. So you have that aspect of it. Then you have the comedy situation, where a lot of these guys, they just love doing these internet things. I love the internet videos, and I love how they do these 1 minute videos where they make a funny face and they make a goofy face, and then that's it. I mean, they got their 100,000 views. Okay, good. Okay. Where does that go to? A Hawaii comedy in general is dominated by a person that's not from Hawaii. It's dominated by Joe Coy. Joe Coy is the best Hawaii comedian right now. And it's very sad that I have to say that, because there is no one right now that is on the level. Granted, Joe Coy is a major player in the comedy world, but still, there is no one like an Eddie Bumatai. There's no one like a Frank DeLima. In their prime, in the late 80s, I mean, come on, that was a squad of Mel Cabane, Rap Replinger. After that, what did we get after that? There's no one took their spot. No one can do a show. I guess you can go Augie T, but after that, who's somebody under? Right, there's nobody under the age of 30 that's even remotely playing in a stand-up comedy situation, or can do a show like a Dave Chappelle where they can have a serious conversation and they go right into a comedy, or go to serious conversation and go back and forth and be insightful and be funny at the same time. There's no one in Hawaii that's doing that. There is zero. And I do not have the confidence in any of these guys making their 1 minute videos of them making goofy faces because they haven't proven to me that they can do that. You bring up Passion. She, I think of all of them, has the best shot because of her look. She's attractive. She can be funny.
10%.
Now, 10%. Yes. Keep that in there. So we look at her. I totally can see her doing a Frank DeLima situation where she can put on a stage show, where she can do her goofy songs or goofy dances, talk like do the old lady impersonation that she does, put her glasses on the bridge of her nose, do all that shtick, and she could do that. Why isn't she doing that in a stage setting? Why isn't she doing that in front of a live crowd? Has she ever done anything in front of a live crowd? I have not. I don't know. I haven't seen it, and she's very much out there, so I don't know what she's doing. I don't know what the connect is with that. I think it's them personally. I don't know if they just enjoy just doing things from their living room and getting their 100,000 views. More power to them. If she's fine with that, I'm old, so I come from the old style where I like to see the performance. I would like to see them out there. I would like to go to a Blue Note and see a stage show
Mm-hmm.
something like
Right.
that. We just don't get it. We see all these, we just see these old acts hanging on. There's nobody young.
Mm-hmm.
And Hawaii stand-up is really nothing to brag about right now, because I've seen that live, and there's a disconnect there too with the comedians that are out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I miss local comedy, and I think that's the first step. Getting back to your original question of how someone hasn't broken out to the mainstream in the mainland and whatnot, I think there needs to be someone powerful locally to generate that buzz to then shoot them over to the mainland.
Mm.
Like we always mention Bruno Mars as a guy that well, he made it, but he worked as a songwriter for a long time, behind the radar, behind the scenes, after he did the Baby Elvis thing. He then moved on to not performing. He just wrote stuff. And then it eventually led to so it was already, he transitioned out of here. You could look at that. Eddie Bumatai tried. He tried to go to the mainland. It kind of worked, but not really. So he had to change his act because the mainland people just didn't get pigeon. So I think we need to have a strong Hawaii comedian for that to be taken off to the next level, to see if they can go to tier 2. And same with music. I think music is just these guys just got to get out of their shell and see how far do they want to take this. How far do they want it? How far do they want to push themselves? How far do they want to push their product? How far do they want to mingle? Especially these non-island music groups, because it's even harder for them in Hawaii. So, yeah.
And one point I want to add to that is so there's guys like you who are doing things that are outside of the box of what is normally seen throughout years of podcasts or even shows. We were just talking about how there's diversity, right? We were talking about how it's not just centered around a Japanese group or a Filipinos group. You know what I mean?
Right.
There needs to be an expansion besides this is how my beat is. It's kind of localish, kind of not. But then finding a way to break that barrier to even go to the next level. What's next after that? What live shows are we going? We're doing tours around Japan. One of my friends, he does tours in Japan. He's very expensive. He goes Japan. He comes here. People show him love here. But then the thing is, it's he's doing something outside of what normal people are doing here. Look at Jizan.
Right.
Jizan is pushing it. He goes to the Philippines.
Exactly.
And she's hustling.
Yeah.
So I think for comedians or entertainers in general, if they really want to get out there, they need to just get out there in general.
Exactly.
And diversify. They have to.
Yes.
They can always be local. They can always keep their integrity. They can always be just centered around a low spirit. But if they need to translate that to a bigger audience, then they got to learn to spread that a low spirit to diversify.
Exactly. You got to get along with everybody. You got to know how to talk to everybody. That's just how it's just logical. You can call it playing the game, but it's just pure logic of just how are you to expand what you're doing to a broader audience, right? You can't just hang out with talk to the rapper people. It's like high school. It's like high school where you got the sports guys only talking to the sports guys. You got the nerds only talking to the nerds. You got the weed guys talking to each other, and there's nobody talking to everybody. You mingle with everybody, and you just be cool with everybody, and that's how you build things. That's how you network. And it's either you got it or you don't. And that's what I personally see with a lot of people. It's either you got it or you don't. And
it's okay to recognize that you stay in your own lane. You do a certain thing. Maybe you're a rapper. You stay in that lane, but then try to connect with others and try to expand without just trying to do something completely different.
Exactly. You can still stay true, which everybody wants to. Nobody wants to stay. That's still to this day. People talk about selling out and staying true and whatnot. It's just you would think that if you are a musician, you want a lot of people to listen to what you do. Or maybe you don't. But let's say you want a lot of people to listen to what you want to do. How are you going to get that to happen? You're going to put it on Spotify and have someone just magically just come around and find it? Good luck. It doesn't work that way. So you got to push it. You got to promote and push it as much as can. I mean, it goes with the show I'm doing, goes with what you're doing, goes with anybody doing any type of media. We're not going to just put a show out there and be like, all right, that's up, show's up. That's it. Congrats, everyone. Go, no, nobody's going to give a shit. No one cares. You need to put it out there and push it out there, and just hopefully people, you share it to the other friends and what have you. And it's not an easy process, but it needs to be done if you want to put your product out there, and if you're confident about your product, and you think these guys would want to do that. So, yeah.
And that's a good point, because like, yeah, I mean, just trying to just put stuff out there content wise. I listen to, like, so besides a lot of podcasters here, which we can actually talk about a little bit, but I know a lot of podcasters in the mainland, which is kind of sad, because I learned a lot about podcasters in the mainland versus guys that are doing it here. So
I'm not surprised. Yeah.
So then it's in a way, it's kind of like, it's confusing to where I should be able to know and see who's really building shows here versus connecting with my friend Brittany Rendak, who is doing entertainment industry stuff in Hollywood.
Yes, I seen that. I seen you post about that. Yes. Yeah.
Great show. I would shout out her show too. She's a great podcaster. She just started off, but she's been doing a lot of stuff for many years.
She has a very interesting personality where you are intrigued to hear what she says next. So she has that going for her. A lot of the people here do not have that going for them. Problem. Just my opinion.
Yeah. And that's a great point. Even, I mean, the whole application about diversifying can apply to even podcasters here that are trying to get their name out there or their show out there. They need to just break the mold of a traditional podcast and start thinking outside the box. Start thinking about what's the next level. Set goals. You know, like how you set your goal for the Teletron. It's a hard task, but the thing is, you did it, and I thought it was an amazing idea. I thought it was executed very well. It was very funny at some points, especially when you had the top half where you had the suit jacket, but then you stood up, and I was like, oh, that's his boxers.
No pants.
No.
So if you guys want to rewatch that, it's still on there. It's
hour 4.
It just comes. That's hour 4.
Yeah.
I don't know the minute timeline, but
I don't know the minute either.
Yeah, good answer, Gavin. Well, I just that's what it comes down to. Like, okay, everybody likes to say or come up to me. I'm sure they're coming up to you as well. I'm like, hey, I want to start a podcast, but I don't know what to do. You know, I always really thought about doing a podcast. I'm like, okay. First of all, why? And then once you answer that question, and then I'm going to give you another question. It's going to be called why. And then I'm going to keep asking you why until you can really give me a specific reason why you're doing this. Because a lot of these guys just go on, either they don't go and follow through on it, they're just talking and then that's the end of it. Or then they go on and they have a show and it just doesn't sound polished at all. It doesn't sound like anything. So I mean, you can do it just to do it and just be like, I'm just going to put it out there and screw it. And just whatever. I don't care if anybody listens to it. I just want to do it just for my own well-being or self-motivation. Because a lot of guys can go that route, and that's fine. But if you're doing it for the fact that you want to have all these guests, and then you want to have sponsors, and you want to do this, and you want to make this big following, okay, why? And what the hell are you going to talk about? And are you able to think of things to talk about if you're by yourself? And are you able to interview someone? Can you listen to someone? It's a lot of stuff that people don't think. And I see that. And I don't know. It's just a lot of that's why this market is so convoluted. This market is there's a trillion shows, and they come on and they don't last, and they all sound the same a lot of times, and it's a lot of guys who are just trying to talk but they don't, and they're just saying and all day long. I don't know. It's a thing that I see, and that's why you have to go to the mainland to go find ways to do a show. I mean, that's it is not. I don't see it much here. I really don't. Honestly, it's if I can really sit down right now and just think of this, I only dig listening to you.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that.
Because I'm not saying this because I'm honored with you. I'm seriously trying to think of other names right now, and I really don't know. I really don't. Maybe I need to give more people a chance, and that's totally fine. Yes.
No, I appreciate that. I really do.
Because I think you get it. Because I know you get it. The whole world that this all is, you know, and it's just the podcast formula is so formulaic at this point in 2020 that it needs to, like you said, it needs to change, and just people think of different stuff, and just go a different route, and don't be afraid to be different, and just that's why I changed the thing to Seelp Times Over Show for the Instagram, for example, because I mean, quite frankly, it's a show. I mean, I'll have an audio version and whatnot, and I'll still do the podcast thing, but I just want to make it an entertaining show for people to dig, and that's it. I mean, I ain't making money off of this. I'm just doing it because I just want to make people either, enjoy, laugh, what have you.
Cry. Swear at each other.
Watch me cry. Yes. Swear at each other, right? Swear at me.
That's the royalty, babes.
Once again, if you haven't checked that out, yeah.
I think that was our 3, actually.
Yes, that was our 3. But so shout out to everybody that's trying to do a show, and what their angle is, and all of that, because it ain't easy.
And don't be afraid to ask others, for help or advice or anything. Yeah, exactly. I know for me, I'm always open for just to tell people my experience with it.
Exactly.
And I definitely know you're very open to, collaborating with people and listening to them too. So, don't be afraid to ask, because we don't even know what we're doing either.
Exactly. Quite frankly, look at all these cockamamie ideas I'm coming up with. It's driving me nuts. So yes, it's every day is a learning experience here. Every day we're learning something new. Every day we're learning something new about social media. Every day we're doing something new about how to promote this thing. I still, for the love of me, still trying to figure that out. So it's an ongoing thing. So yeah. So everybody, yes, please ask.
Shout outs to all the creators out there.
Yes. Creators, all you guys out there creating, just ask and continue to learn, and be sure to listen. So we have a real problem in society where we don't listen to each other. That's a major one. And it's sad. So, yeah.
Last question before we start sending off, but so
my battery's gonna die. So
I know. So I figured, because it was slowing down at one part, and I was like, okay, I gotta rush this one. What is your idea of Talk Story? We're on my show, Talk Story with Kelsey Sugai. What is your idea of Talk Story in a general sense?
Something realistic. Like, if the camera was not on, will we have the same conversation? That's what Talk Story is. I mean, a lot of people, they'll throw it out there, but it's a conversation, a real conversation. It is a real conversation, getting to know that person that you're talking story with, listening to what that person is saying back to you, and learning from that, and then adding to the conversation and building a true conversation. in my opinion, the foundation of talking story is a true conversation. I don't see a lot of that in this, and I'm talking about not here. I'm talking about like around the town. So I think we need to get back to that. Truly talking story. Just getting to know people and just getting to listen to what people have to say. And communication is a very powerful thing. And when done right, can really do a lot of good stuff. So we got to keep that in mind. So yeah,
that was a good answer. I like that. Being real, it's real conversations. I mean, and the thing about us is, whether we're recording or not recording, this would have been the same conversation we would have had.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Yes.
So
because that's the only way you can do it.
Yeah.
Because you put on a facade, you put on some kind of fake act. People can see right through it. And that's not talking story. That's acting. And when it comes down to having real conversation, or someone's making a serious point, listen to that person and grab what that person is saying, and then try to add on to what that person is saying or build off of what that person is saying. And that's how you create good conversation. And a lot of problems we got are created by bad conversation. Racism is created from bad conversation. Stereotyping, because the guy doesn't talk. The white guy don't talk to the black guy. So the white guy thinks the black guy's doing this. So the white guy therefore hates the black guy, not talking to him because he doesn't want to talk to him, because he thinks and assumes. No communication, racism, stereotyping, and all that kind of stuff. Just prejudgment is all created from bad conversation. A lot of the wrongs of the world are created with bad conversations. No one's talking story. You get people that don't agree with each other, have them talk story. They might become friends. If they were to have a mature conversation back and forth, a Trump supporter versus a non-Trump supporter, and they both hear each other out and they converse maturely.
Who knows?
If they can, who knows? They could become friends. I'd be like, okay, we agree to disagree, but at least I understand what you're saying. I understand why you feel this way. I understand why you feel this way about this. And that's talking story. That's what it's about. Coming together. And that's what this show's all about. This is what your show's all about.
Definitely.
Yep.
Once again, thank you, Aaron, for coming on my show. Actually, this might have been my longest episode, which is pretty amazing.
Sorry.
No,
sorry, just tell me shut up, Gaven.
No, which is great. But I don't want your phone to die. That's what I was worrying about.
Well,
yeah.
I gotta get the charger. I gotta put the charger in. Yeah. But no, thank you, though. Thank you very much, brother, for inviting me on. Anytime, whatever you need, anytime you need me for anything, just let me know.
Oh, same here, man. Anytime if you need anything. And do you want to put in any plugs? You want to shout out your Instagram accounts?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I got the show. Yeah, it's Seelp Times Over is the show. Instagram at Seelp Times Over Show. YouTube channel www.seelptimesover.com. We got the website, so that kind of will connect you to all the various channels. Online store. We got a Nevermind shirt. Go figure. It's got the number 69 in the back. I'm sure clamoring up to get one of those. But yeah, so the website seelptimesover.com, the show, Instagram Seelp Times Over Show. That's where it's at. Do the daily shows ongoing and do the live shows and just keep going until this quarantines gets me to do the live show again. I'll just be hanging in there. So yes, thank you.
Do you want to plug in any lives that you're doing, upcoming lives you're getting out there? I think I'm gonna post this next week, so we'll see.
Okay. Well, I mean, just quick one. Just been doing the mayoral candidates as the latest IG live. So just did a show with Keith Amamiya just the other day. The day before we're recording this today. We got coming up Rick Blangiardi, Colleen Hanabusa, just trying to cover all the mayoral candidates to just get people aware. Biggest mayor's race of our lifetime. I think if anyone's lifetime is coming up in August 8th. So just be sure to just get out there, vote, and just learn about these candidates and learn who these people are, because they're going to be our next leader of the city of Honolulu. So just that's the upcoming shows I got, and hopefully Hi Brau Room returns in July, is what the rumors and innuendo say.
Yep.
So,
you're crossing your fingers.
We shall see.
Yeah,
we shall see. Yes.
Once again, thank you, Aaron, for coming on the show and talking story with all of us. Thank you guys for tuning in. We enjoy all you guys coming in and listening to us say some nonsense or whatever.
Shout out to anyone watching this.
Yeah, shout out to anybody watching this. And for those who are watching the YouTube, we hope you enjoyed the anime background at Aaron's hallway over here. Yep.
This is real. Yep. This is real right here.
Real. It's not a painting. It was different.
Right? No.
It was different an hour ago.
Not, see? Well, right. See, things are moving. I can just go like that, and if I keep blowing it, it's not going anywhere. But yeah, it's real.
Once again, guys, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.
Please check out his show. Sleep Times Over. I was gonna say don't sleep. Please check out his show. Sleep Times Over on YouTube, and stay tuned for his IG lives. They're awesome. Okay, guys, have a great one.